Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 144 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to answer a lot of the burning questions from The Force Awakens, as well as creating new questions at the very beginning of this movie that will be answered at the very end of this film by J.J., Chris Terrio, and even George Lucas. Now, what's really exciting about all of this is that these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for one of the set leaks as well for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that one of the scenes that were filmed during the months of October 2018 involved a sequence between 9 unnamed actors playing the roles of the Dark Acolytes during a flashback scene for the first act of the film. It's said to be the very moment demonstrating of how the Dark Acolytes use the power of the Beyond, and how the Beyond will be introduced in the film at the very beginning. One of the sequences filmed involved a young actor in his 30s that wore a black cloak that was playing the role of a resurrected Anakin Skywalker that was initiated by the Dark Acolytes. It's described that he was lifted by wirework in front of a large green screen, where the actual scene was dubbed as Anakin's Resurrection. It's described to be a sequence that explains how the hybrid Force ghost of Anakin/Vader will be born in the film, and how this will be used as a trial before they initiate the rebirth of Palpatine/Darth Sidious and bring his spirit into the mortal world. The scenery is described to be very dark and grim, with a storm cloud that will be keyed in for the distance. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 is going to have a lot of dark elements in this movie. In fact, one of the big plans by director J.J. Abrams is to make this movie darker than that of Revenge of the Sith at certain key points in this movie, which, honestly, I will be honest, I think that's going to be a very hard task to really pull off. You know, in Revenge of the Sith, we had, a lot of dark moments, like Anakin and the younglings, and Anakin burning and being rebuilt as Darth Vader. All of those different moments, and I'm not quite sure if they will be able to top that, but we'll have to wait and see. So, I want to go over the Dark Acolytes. Now, the Dark Acolytes, currently, we don't know too much about them in canon. We do know about them a little bit in Star Wars Legends, however, they are reintroducing them into the current canon material with the Rise of Skywalker. So, these 9 Dark Acolytes were portrayed by 9 unnamed actors. They almost remind me of the Knights of Ren to an extent, where we don't really know exactly who's playing these guys and what kind of role they're going to have in the movie, other than this scene and the one Dark Acolyte named Vance at the very end of this movie that will be controlled by the Sith spirit of Palpatine, but I digress. What's really intriguing about this is that this is said to be the moment in which Anakin will be resurrected in a very unexpected and unique way, and that this is all going to be done through the use of the power of the Beyond, and will explain how Anakin's hybrid Force ghost is brought back into the mortal world of the Force itself. So this is said to be a mixture of Anakin and Vader, where the scene is dubbed as Anakin's Resurrection. So this really is a very exciting moment for Star Wars, because a lot of people have been wondering on whether or not, time travel, resurrection, and all of these different elements of the Star Wars franchise entering into Episode 9 is a good or a bad idea. And I will say that when we look at Episode 9, it really is a big risk by implementing these types of ideas into The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams. Resurrection and time travel. We do know that flow walking is going to be introduced in this film by Disney and Lucasfilm. That is going to be renamed, and I have no doubt that they're going to call it Skywalking. I wouldn't be surprised. But moving forward from this, alright, I really want to go over how this sequence is actually said to be very dark and grim and contains a storm cloud in the distance that's going to be keyed in for one of the green screens where a lot of actors portrayed in this particular scene in front of the large green screen. Now, this storm cloud almost reminds me of what would happen during a ritual or during some kind of event where they're trying to bring somebody back from the dead, or transferring somebody's consciousness into someone else's body, or something around those lines, right? It seems like JJ really is bringing in that cliche type of moment where you have a storm in the distance that's being formed while this event actually occurs. Now, the Beyond is going to be explored at the very beginning of this movie. This is basically the exact moment in which we are able to witness the power of the Beyond and exactly where and what it really is. The Dark Acolytes, also known as the Acolytes of the Beyond, are going to have a good scene at the very beginning of this movie that's really going to make us understand exactly who they are and where they come from, other than what we know briefly, or what we read about them briefly in the books such as Aftermath and Empire's End, etc., where they collected Darth Vader's lightsaber and even Darth Vader's armor, you name it. So now you can really tell exactly how Vader's armor was retrieved from the planet, or should I say the forest moon of Endor. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.